Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm pretty excited. I don't have any lotion in my hand because I'm going to kind of be sharing with you guys a little bit more on like my breastfeeding journey and kind of how I was able to, I feel like I had an oversupply. I mean, I think now we're stabilized, but I think at the very beginning I did have an oversupply. So I did ask you guys a couple of questions. If you guys haven't gotten this, it tastes really good. It's a vanilla chai latte, but it has like pumps of cinnamon dolce and white mocha. It's probably too sweet if you guys don't like sweet coffee, but I do. Anyways, so yeah, I just kind of wanted to share this video for people who may be struggling to increase your supply. It depends how long this is, but if I do have time, I'm going to go ahead and add kind of how I relatch my son. I think I might just add it in here because I don't want to have a whole other video about that. But if you do have questions, you can totally let me know. I did not go into, how I explain, like once I gave birth, I didn't put so much pressure on myself as far as like I need to be breastfeeding. Like I didn't have any supplies either for breastfeeding besides kind of what I got for my baby shower of nursing pads. But yeah, I don't think I got anything else. I got like a nipple shield, stuff like that, but I don't think I got anything else. So I didn't have anything because I didn't want to put expectations on myself as far as like, oh, I'm going to be exclusively breastfeeding, like, you know, like that's what I'm going to do. No, because I watched so many videos and people say like your milk doesn't come in, they don't latch on, so all this other stuff. And I was like, I'm not gonna worry about that until I need to worry about it. So once he was born, I think I said this, like he latched on right away. As far as how I feel like I increased my supply, I think what had helped was the fact that I did end up, what's it called? I was using the Haka pump, and I showed that in the last video. I was using the Haka pump like 3 times a day right after. I wasn't really truly suctioning it. The only thing that it really helped with as far as like catching my letdown. So yeah, I didn't really use any pump at all until almost 2 months into it. So I don't know if like had I used it, it would have helped me more. But I got sucked into the whole exclusively pumping because like it just kind of happened. I just stopped kind of breastfeeding him and then later struggled with him latching back on. If you are doing like that whole pumping thing and trying to breastfeed, like they recommend to just breastfeed on demand, which is kind of what you're supposed to be doing. But obviously some people have to be pumping because even when they're breastfeeding on demand, they don't feel like they have enough. So then you're gonna add like pumping to it. So maybe you'll feed the baby and then you'll pump right after. I just didn't want to do that because it was already kind of hard pumping, I mean like breastfeeding, because sometimes he'd like cry, and I didn't know if it was because I was forcing him to eat more or if he truly just didn't want any or he just hated like breastfeeding. I struggle with that. So I was like, you know what, maybe it'd be easier if I was like giving him actual bottle and I knew how much he was getting. So that's when I ended up exclusively pumping. I got my pump stuff just because I was like, well, I'm gonna have to pump anyways because when I go back to work. I started pumping and I had a strict routine. So I don't want to encourage you to start having a strict pumping routine because there is like routines, a ton of like Instagram accounts that are really helpful because they show like the routines, but some of them are exclusively pumping and some of them are like, well, you know, if you are exclusively nursing, then you should maybe pump like 1 or 2 times a day, like after you feed him, not like, you know, because I always wondered, I always thought this, like I pump, I'm not gonna have any more milk to feed him. So that's why I got stuck in the whole pumping and not nursing him, because we just weren't always on the same schedule. So I struggled with that, knowing when to pump and when to actually like nurse him. Hopefully you guys can see me. I struggled with thinking that I didn't have any and trying to like get a schedule with my baby. So I would probably just recommend like feed on demand, because if your baby's cluster feeding, it's helping you technically, because the more you empty out your breast, the more it tells your body to make more. So I feel like the way that I increased my supply was because I started pumping a strict schedule. I think my baby wasn't clearly like emptying me out, so I think what was happening was I did have a lot of milk, and so when I was just feeding him and like not pumping, Chewy, I think you might. Did you open the door? I wasn't, my baby wasn't completely like emptying me out. So that's when I feel like I was doing, like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to, because I think I should have been emptying out. And you can kind of feel it once you start once you start feeding the baby, you can feel when your breasts are kind of empty. So if you are truly like nursing, I would probably suggest like, you know, gauging like if you need to empty them out, because it tells your body to produce more. So once I finally like was exclusively pumping, I was like on a strict schedule and I would empty them out. So I was like every 3 hours, and then at night I'd like have my last pump like at 9, and then I wouldn't pump until like 2 in the morning because he was sleeping pretty much through the night. So I did that for like a good month, yeah, because I was like for 5 weeks I was exclusively pumping, and my milk supply like just skyrocketed. And I do want to say like I went from like 2 ounces like the first few weeks. I think I had like 2 ounces just like left over, and I think it was just like let down. I didn't have anything. I'd save like my 2 ounces like every day, and then like by the second day I had like 4 or something like that, so I had like a bottle for him. It was just really funny because like now, like obviously not now because I haven't pumped. I'm gonna start pumping next week when I go back into work, like 2 or 3 times a week. But it's funny because then I went from 2 ounces to legit like 9 ounces, and then when I would wake up in the morning I had a whole like 14-15 ounces, which is just like crazy. And honestly I think all it did was just the fact that I was completely emptying out my breasts. So do that. I wasn't pumping for a lot, so don't go off of me, because I think I just have a lot of milk ready to go, so I don't have to sit on like a machine for like 15 minutes. I literally would do it for like 10. That's my main thing, is empty out your breasts. So have like a strict kind of schedule if you are doing pumping, exclusively pumping, or if you are nursing, nurse and then completely empty out your breasts, because it tells your body to make more. And they kind of have a routine of doing it like every 3 hours. They're like little, obviously when they're older they might eat every 4 hours and stuff. So I did that, and I had like oversupply. Like I'll show you guys probably pictures if you're like, maybe a quick video of how much I had like in like less than like 4 weeks I just had like over 400 ounces or something like that. It was ridiculous, and it just was a lot because it was hurting my breasts, because I had just a lot of milk. So I think I was telling my body to continue to make more when my baby was clearly not eating that much. Actually, like he's just like, he's a little guy, even though I have a lot of milk to give him. But yeah, and I kind of wanted to stop that, so I slowly stopped pumping. And then because I started actually nursing him again and relatching him, which was a whole other like one thing. The other thing is I strictly ate oatmeal every single morning for like 2 or 3 months. I just started hating oatmeal for a while. Yeah, just always eating oatmeal and always eating all the time, just because, you know, your body needs to have that, like those nutrients inside of you. So yeah, I just eat all the time. Eat good food. Always like, you know, flax seeds and oatmeal, stuff like that, that helps you produce more milk. The thing is I have a huge water bottle, and you might have seen it in some of my videos, but it's like those 64-ounce bottles, and I would drink like 2 of those a day because I was just so thirsty all the time, and I did that every single day. So if you're not obviously not drinking water, drink your water, and yeah, eat well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm gonna answer some of the questions like that I had you guys ask. I think some of them did ask like if I ever kind of like wanted to stop breastfeeding, and I do want to like mention this in this video because breastfeeding is like really hard in the sense of you don't even know if you're feeding your baby. I know that sounds bad, but like you don't, and you're playing kind of like a gamble where you think you're feeding him, and it's like a mind game where you just don't know. And I hated that feeling. I hated the feeling of thinking that like I wasn't feeding my baby, and that's kind of why I started pumping and feeding him bottles, and I thought that's what I was gonna have to do. And I just absolutely hated pumping because it's a lot of work. I don't want to say like, you know, formula feeding your baby is not a lot of work, but like it would have been so much easier had I just like formula fed him. That's kind of sometimes what you have to weigh, I think, as a mom, where like, yeah, fed is best, but then like I wanted to like formula feed him sometimes too, but then I felt like it was really bad of me as a mom to have so much extra milk and not feed him. Like when I was pumping, and I was like, oh my god, he's not gonna want to take my, like he wouldn't nurse again. And I was just thinking that like why would have God given me so much milk and like me not give it to him? I feel like that was kind of like selfish of me, just because I kind of was getting like lazy with it. That's my opinion, in the sense that I just feel like, you know, like other moms like struggle and like how can I just like quit. So I obviously knew that if I wanted to quit I could quit, but I'm so happy I didn't, because when I was pumping I truly like started to realize like how much I missed him, and I was like, no, like I think I should just give it another try. And I'm so thankful I continued to pump and have milk, because then when I was able to relatch him, it's just like this bond. And now at the point that we're at, where he's 6 months, almost 7, like he'll ask me for his milk and he'll pull my shirt. It's so easy, and he eats and he doesn't like, you know, push or anything. Like it just, we went through so many ups and downs, and now to see it, I'm like, I'm so happy I stuck with it. But like at the same time, I feel like if it's hurting your mental, like if you're having a mental game with it and it's truly like just overwhelming, like I would 100% support you to stop. Where I was at point 2, I was just like, and also I was like videos of me. It was on Snapchat, so obviously I don't have them, but where I was just like this, like, and like my hair was a mess, and Enzo was eating and he would just push off of me. And I honestly feel because he wasn't hungry, we struggled a little bit where like I didn't even know when he was hungry. And I did so well like the very beginning, newborn and all that stuff. Like I was on a schedule, I took the taking care of babies course, so I knew like I was on top of my stuff. I knew exactly like when my baby was hungry or what he needed. And then I don't know what happened, and like his schedule was, oh, it's because he started waking up at night. He started waking up at night at like at the end of month 5, almost 6. And I was telling him, so I was like, I just don't understand. Like he eats a little bit at night, and I don't know, he's like not really hungry. I don't even know if he eats like a full meal. Like it's like not even a lot of minutes. And in the day, like I don't know if he's hungry. Like I offered it to him and then he would cry and it was fuss, and it was just like a whole ordeal thing. So that's when I was just like, oh my god, like I don't even know if he's hungry or not, like because he eats at night, because he wakes up multiple times. So yeah, that actually leads to my question. Somebody asked, am I breastfeeding at night? And right now, no. We actually had a good baby in the sense that like the courses helped me with taking care of babies. He slept really well, like maybe woke up once, fed, went back to sleep, if that, but majority of times he would sleep through the night up until like 5 or 6 in the morning or 7 o'clock. And yeah, once he turned like in the 4-month sleep regression too, that didn't even last that long. It was like 3-4 days. And I did actually purchase that 3 and 4 month booklet from Taking Care of Babies, but it was pretty much pointless because I didn't really use it because he went back to his regular schedule. That's why it's like important to do that since the very beginning, I think, as a newborn, to have them on a schedule. And then yeah, when he turned like, it was Christmas. It was like 2 days after Christmas, and then he just started waking up at night. Maybe he's hungry, and then he like wasn't hungry, and he would get so mad, and I was like, what does he want? And it took us like 2 hours to put him back down, and that's how it was like that for 3 weeks. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna deal with that. I think he needs a little bit more help, because now he got used to waking up at night and like I was having to pick him up, and it wasn't like that before. So I was like, no. And I took the Taking Care of course for 5 months plus, which is like a sleep training, and yeah, recommend it 100%, because if your baby does struggle, which everybody's different, some babies love to sleep, some babies like are more active, my baby's more active. So he obviously did sleep well first like months, and yeah, that happened, started waking up. So the core pretty much weans off night feedings, and yeah, he doesn't eat at night, but I do wake up with my breasts super engorged and like they're spilling out milk. Now I don't pump at all. I was originally pumping like 3 times like 3 times months, like 3, 4, because the lactation consultant, which I went to 4 different appointments, because my baby was just not gaining so much weight. He was gaining weight, but not based on the growth chart. So that was a whole other struggle, and they reassured me like, you have enough milk, just continue, just keep your supply, because we want him to be emptying you out. And my baby just obviously was not emptying me out then. Now he is. Then I stopped pumping 3 times and only 1, and it wasn't like an extra pump, it was just his night feeding. My boyfriend does that for him. Alonso does that. He feeds him, so I'd pump a little bit before his bedtime, and then Alonso would feed him the bottle. Yeah, and I had a lot, a whole like 7 ounces, so I feel like he wasn't like emptying me out. And then now I just try to pump just to see how much I have, and like it's not, I don't even have like 7 ounces, because I think he truly just empties me out during the day. Yeah, he's good for the entire night, and it's because he eats a lot during the day, and I can tell because my breasts are so much like just, you know, empty. So I feel like now my body like knows how much it's supposed to make for him, which is kind of nice that I kept it like that, like pumping when he wasn't eating that much. Regardless, we're not super strict, so like I even told him, so I'm like, if that last bottle needs to be the frozen breast milk that we have extra, great. If not, we can feed that to him formula. Like we did that too at the very beginning. We are not anti-formula. We are more of like, well, you have milk, why don't you give it to him kind of thing. So I'm super like happy that we stuck with it, because I know very well that like it's freaking hard. It's like how I told you guys, it's like mentally exhausting. And sometimes like if you have multiple kids, like I don't know, I might not be doing that for my other kids if I ever get pregnant again, because it took a long time. But yeah, I'm probably not, because it's hard. Like he would ring the bell, Chewy would ring the bell, and I was feeding Enzo, and like I just can't do both at the same time. And if my other kid needs me, like, you know, it's just, that's the hard part. So some people it comes supernatural, great for you, but that just, it didn't come out supernatural until now. I think it finally got easier. So if you are struggling with it, like reach out. Like I'm more than happy to like help you more like personal, you know, then maybe this isn't like enough for you, but like I can share a lot more too. I just think like what truly helped is like drinking a lot of water, eating well, and then emptying out your breasts. So if he is not emptying out your breast, then you need to figure out how to empty them out with a pump. And I did use the Elvie, and I do kind of want to do a review on that because I know it's like really expensive, but I would 100% recommend it, especially if you need your hands to be free. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This already is like a 20-minute video for me to cut down, so I think on the next video I will share kind of how I relatched him, because it did take a while. I just kind of go into detail with people like gave me like their tips and tricks, because it is kind of hard. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think I answered all the questions like in the video from what people asked, but if you have any other questions though, please feel free to reach out to me, because I feel like women need to help each other out, especially like first-time moms, because like you don't really know what to expect or what's right and what's wrong, because there's be some weird things happening with your body and all that stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.